Leadership is you, and it's me. It's acting in every facet of our lives. It isn't just elected officials, although it is them as well. But it's the kind of leadership you're now seeing from Governor Ritter. It's the kind of leadership we're seeing from the new President of the United States, Barack Obama. It's leadership being exerted in states around this country and in places around the world. But it's leadership like that of Alice Madden here in your own house. Go ahead and applaud, that's all right. It's leadership of Hunter Levins and Woody Tash on rethinking the economy. What is an economy that is sustainable, fair, just, and decent? It's leadership of John Powers and the Alliance for Sustainable Colorado, and all of you involved in that. It's my friend Bill Becker, who 2.5 years ago took on the leadership of the President's Climate Action Plan and delivered, after 2.5 years, a very thorough, kind of the gold standard of climate thinking to President Obama and the transition team. Many of the ideas worked out in that plan have now found their way into administration policy and will find their way into the climate bill. It's Paul Stamets, who is here and helping us to rethink the human role in the natural world. It's Tom Hartman and Amy Goodman, who are some of the clearest voices on public politics and so forth. So let me end with this. Where does this leave us? Time is short. Time is not our friend. Let there be no mistake about this. The issues are not fundamentally ahead of us. They're not fundamentally technological. They're not even really economic. We ought to be doing these things for all sorts of reasons. Let's make sure that this is not our final hour, as Martin Rees, the British Astronomer Royal, put it, but our finest hour. When people look back at this time, this is the time we finally got it right. But it is a difficult communications problem. How do we communicate this to the public? Well, imagine two different ways to think about this. On one hand, remember the movie, Jack Nicholson's movie, A Few Good Men? Let's see the hands. Everybody who knows Jack Nicholson's movie, A Few Good Men. Do you remember the scene where Tom Cruise has got Nicholson on the witness stand, and Cruise is the young JAG attorney, and there's been a murder on Nicholson's base, and Cruise is trying to get the truth out of him. It's a very tense scene. And he says, I just want the truth from you. And Nicholson, remember that scene, says, you can't handle the truth. Remember that? Now, there's a viewpoint there. There is a viewpoint. T.S. Eliot, the great British poet, once said that humankind can't bear much reality. There is a view that maybe we shouldn't tell the public, maybe we ought to soft pedal this as only opportunities and fun and games. And then there's the other example of, say, Winston Churchill. When bombs are falling on London in 1940, Churchill doesn't go to the British people and say, hey, this is a wonderful opportunity for urban renewal. He doesn't talk about whooping the Nazis at a profit. Churchill says, I don't have a thing to offer you but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. He called for heroism, and the British people responded. Now, this isn't quite apples and apples. We do a whole lot better if the enemy is dependably loathsome. If we can project our fears and animosities on somebody, Osama bin Laden, or some race, or somebody like Adolf Hitler. But this is the kind of case that Walt Kelly described in that wonderful cartoon back in 1977. If you remember the cartoon Pogo, you have to be a little older to remember this, but Pogo is a possum that lives in Yoki Finoki, remember that? And Pogo is